Hello and welcome back to Mark's House and Garden UK. I've just shown you my neighbour's Indian runner ducks and hens, and I collected the eggs because my neighbours are on holiday at the moment and I'm looking after the ducks and the hens. And I promised you in that video that I would demonstrate how I poach a day-old egg, because in my house I am the designated egg poacher. So we are going to poach an egg in this video, but you might be wondering why I'm holding two chainsaws. Well, a company called Lively have just sent me two chainsaws. One is for me and one is to give away to a club member in my January giveaway gift bundle. So if you want to know how to join my club and be entered in the draw for the January giveaway gift bundle, I will put a link in the description box below this video and you can have a look at it. Right, let's get on to poaching the egg. So here are the eggs, and I am going to bring you in close in a moment to show you what's going on in this pan. Right, I have some kitchen roll. I will rip two pieces off and I will fold them into four. And I have a slotted spoon. That is for fishing the eggs out at the end when they're cooked and getting the water off. Two pieces of toast. Well, they're actually bread at the moment, but I will be toasting them in the process of poaching the eggs. I have a pan here. I'm doing two, so this pan has to be large enough to have enough water in it that there can be some movement of the eggs once they've been dropped into the water. And this is a kettle of water that has just boiled, so it's already hot, and I'm going to half fill this pan and I'm going to get that back on and bring it to the boil. When it's boiling, I'm going to turn it down. So there's a couple of things I think people do wrong when they're poaching eggs, and one of them is the water is on too much of a rolling boil, I should say. So I will be turning that down so it's on a simmer, and again I will be bringing the camera up close so that you can see what I mean when I simmer. This is a spoon. You will notice I have not put any vinegar or anything else, no salt, no pepper, no vinegar in that water. It is pure water, and it's in a pan, and it's going to come back up to the boil. Then I'm going to lower the temperature so that it's down to a simmer. These are my eggs. These are day-old eggs. The best thing to do poached eggs with is very fresh eggs. If they're not fresh, they can break up when you drop them into the water. I've got a little bowl here. I will be dropping the eggs into the pan. If you're not confident about getting the egg close to the water, you can break it into a little bowl and then lower it in. So I'll probably demonstrate that with one of my eggs. Now I have brought the pan onto the front ring from the back ring because I can get a better camera angle. You can see that water is boiling furiously. Now if I were to drop an egg into that, it would just disintegrate because there's too much motion in that water. So let's turn it right down. Fortunately, my cooker responds very quickly, and let's bring it to a simmer, very light simmer. Now, when I drop a cold egg into that, it will lose its temperature and then it will have to come back to a simmer. Well, this is how I want it, more or less like that, just simmering away gently, possibly a little bit lighter. So I'll just turn it down a little bit. You can possibly see it's on 2 and it's simmering away. So the next thing to do is to get the egg into that water as gently as possible. I'm going to crack it down here and lower the egg into the water. If I were to drop it from up here, it would splosh down, it would disintegrate. So again, this is part of the process that has to be done gently. If you're not confident about getting the egg down there, you can put it into a bowl and lower it in. We'll do one at a time. So just let's nice simmer. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get, well, I'll turn that up slightly. I'm going to get a bit of movement. Using a metal spoon, I'm just rotating the water, as you can see, round and round and round. Whilst that is still moving, I will drop an egg into the middle as gently and as carefully as I possibly can. And you can see there's the egg in the middle. And the water going around the outside of the egg is causing it to stay in the middle. Just to demonstrate the bowl technique, I shall break the egg into the bowl. And then I shall very carefully lower it in. Now you will notice that the egg has taken the heat out of the water, and one of them was in sooner, so that one will cook quicker. And this one is in second, and it's at the edge. Don't worry, just leave it. I will turn the temperature up very slightly, just to bring a bit more heat into that water, but I will not allow it to bubble and boil. The question is, how do I know when it's cooked? There isn't an exact science to this. It's not a question of timing it. What I do generally do is put the toast in. So if I put that toast in for a couple of minutes, I know at least that it's had 2 minutes in this water. The other thing I do is I just look at the egg and I wait for the white of the egg to turn white, not see-through, not jelly-like. And thirdly, in a moment when these are almost cooked, I'll put a little bit of motion into the water. And if they lift off the bottom and start to move around and they look cooked, that is when I think they are cooked. So now we are literally 2 or 3 minutes later. The time it's taken for the toast to be toasted and buttered, and I'm just making some movement in this water. The eggs are nicely formed into nice poached egg shapes, and I'm just moving it. And when they start to float around this water, and this one is now starting to float, can you see? The one that went in first, that one I deem now to be cooked. I'm looking at it, the white looks cooked, it looks cooked. So let's get that out. Now, very, very carefully, get the slotted spoon underneath the egg. Have another look at it just to make sure it looks cooked. And then just very gently lay it onto the kitchen roll. You don't want to put a soggy wet egg onto crunchy crispy toast. And here comes the second one. And again, having a look to make sure it looks cooked, laying it on the kitchen roll and placing it on the toast. The next thing I'm going to do is the test, which is to put a knife through to see how they are cooked. I like them nice and runny, but look at that. Doesn't it look lovely? So if I just bring that to the toast, put the knife in, and isn't that beautiful? A soft poached egg. Absolutely lovely. Bit of salt on that, bit of pepper on that, and it's wonderful. So there we go. How to poach a fresh egg. Hope you found that interesting and useful and informative. I know it's not rocket science, but for me, it's all about confidence. Be confident with your egg, because if you're not, I think the egg can sense it. Right, so there we go. Do not forget, please, to have a look at my club, Mark's House and Garden UK Club, for the chance to win a prize in my monthly giveaway gift bundle. December, we've got wildlife cameras. January, we've got a chainsaw. And there'll be other prizes added too. See you soon for some more egg poaching adventures. Bye for now.